Hello, I'm Susan Angelo. I've been at the Theatricum Botanicum for many, many years. I started here as a young actress, right out of college actually, playing all the ingenues. Helena and Midsummer Night's Dream was my first, and Juliet, and on. And then slowly I started developing educational programs that Ellen and her dad had always wanted to have, because she believed so much that education should go hand in hand with the repertory and that they shouldn't be separate. And then it grew and grew over time with programs for children, teens, adults, in colleges, community, and we've worked with as many as 22,000 a year now. So it's kind of a great tribute to this place and to really Ellen and the family's belief that, as I said, education really has to go hand in hand with the arts. I grew up in Ohio, and nobody knew anything about Shakespeare, but I had this English teacher, Mrs. White, and she was passionate about Shakespeare, and nobody liked it. And I can't even really say that I did, but I loved her enthusiasm for it. And she showed us a tape. It was a Scottish play production, someplace I think maybe Stratford, with Douglas Campbell playing the title role. And he was brilliant. So I was, 15 maybe? And come to find out later, I meet Ellen, and that's her mentor, Douglas Campbell. She worked with him at the Guthrie and with Tyrone Guthrie, and she brought him here to work and direct a play quite a few years back. So it was seeing his performance in the Scottish play that perked my ears up. I had no idea when I started that it would become my life. When I first went to college, went to Cal Arts, was cast in the Scottish play, prayed that I didn't have much to do because I knew I didn't know what I was doing. And I had sort of this love-hate relationship with it. I didn't really understand it. I knew that if I wanted to be a serious actor, I was going to have to become a Shakespeare scholar, but I really I don't know, I can't understand it. I really didn't really like it. And it wasn't until after meeting Ellen Geer, she was instrumental in my life because she made it so human and so passionate. And it was like a shot of adrenaline when you started looking at these characters. And so slowly, and I kept getting Shakespeare roles. I kept getting cast in Shakespeare. And it was probably the third or fourth one where the light bulb went on when I realized about the meter and just the rhythms and how the structure that he writes is so changeable for the different characters and the thought process of the characters and the emotional lives of the characters, and how this form that seems like it could be a constricting thing is actually the most freeing. So it just kept snowballing, and I just kept doing it more and more and more, and I have made my life doing Shakespeare, teaching Shakespeare, acting Shakespeare. My friends make fun of me that I'm a Shakespeare geek. It became everything that I do. It's a part of who I am. It takes a curiosity about language and the construction of language, and being willing to investigate the unknowns that takes you to the thought that gives birth to the words. And that can be daunting because on the surface you have all of the rhetorical great devices and all of the language that you have to kind of navigate and have a handle on. But then at some level you have to let that go and go way, way under the text to let it sort of sift to the surface and work its magic. So I think you have to be, what takes a good Shakespearean actor? Somebody that is willing to have the command of the language and the technique of the language, but then somebody who's brave enough to forgo that in a strange way and get out of the driver's seat and paradoxically open themselves up so that this language can work through them. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. But when you see it, it's a great thing. Yeah. I don't know why I picked this. I have not done it, and I've worked on it. I've seen people work on it, and I just thought I would pick something that I hadn't done before. So here goes. Would I do such a deed for all the world? The world's a huge thing. It is a great price for a small vice. Mary, I would not do such a thing for a joint ring, nor for measures of lawn, nor gowns, nor caps, nor petticoats, nor any petty exhibition, but for the whole world. God's pity, who would not make her husband a cuckold to make him a monarch? I should venture purgatory for it. Why, the wrong is but a wrong in the world, and having the world for your labor, 'tis a wrong in your own world, and you might quickly make it right. But I do think it is their husbands' faults, if wives do fall. Say that they slack their duties, and pour our treasures into foreign laps, or else break out in peevish jealousies, throwing restraint on us, or say they strike us, or scant our former having in despite. Why, we have galls, and though we have some grace, yet have we some revenge. Let husbands know their wives have sense like them. They see and smell and have their palates both for sweet and sour, as husbands have. What is it that they do when they change us for others? Is it sport? I think it is. And doth affection breed it? I think it doth. This frailty that thus errs, it is so too. And have not we affections, desires for sport and frailty as men have? Then let them use us well. Else let them know the ills we do, their ills instruct us so.